Since I was 14, I paid for every Christmas. It started when Dad lost his job. Mom said, "We have to spend less this year. You understand, right?" I nodded and used my after-school savings. That's how it began, an unspoken rule that I would take care of everything. Each year, I paid for more. The presents, the decorations, the food when Mom didn't want to cook, even hotel rooms for relatives. Somehow, credit card bills also ended up in my name. It became normal. Big brother will pay. And I did. This year was supposed to be the same, until I got a text from Rachel, my 25-year-old sister. "Guess what, big bro? You pay. I belong." That was all. No Merry Christmas. No emojis. Just that. I stared at the message. At first, I didn't feel angry, just empty. The same cold feeling I'd carried for years. Rachel, their spoiled favorite. She never had a full-time job, still lived at home for free, once called me boring because I saved my money. Now acting like I was the family bank. I didn't reply. I didn't call. But I still went over on Christmas Eve. I parked by the curb. The driveway was full. My parents, Rachel, her boyfriend, even Aunt Susan, who hadn't visited in years. The house glowed with lights. I could hear laughing. I carried just one small box. No gifts like the other years. Just that box. Mom opened the door. She looked proud of herself. "Oh, you actually came," she said with a fake smile. "Here's your special gift." She shoved the box into my hands and slammed the door. I stood there in the cold. Inside the box was an envelope. I opened it. Legal papers. They had transferred over 6 figures of debt into my name. I whispered, "Merry Christmas." I stood there, holding the box, feeling something inside me break. It wasn't anger. It wasn't surprise. It was colder than that. But honestly, this didn't start tonight. It started years ago. It started small. The first time, Dad lost his job early that winter. Mom smiled and called it pitching in when I handed her my paycheck for my part-time job. I felt proud. I thought I was helping. That's how it began. Small, quiet, harmless. Each year, I paid for more. By 17, I was buying the Christmas tree and half the gifts. At 19, I paid Rachel's first college deposit because she forgot to apply for scholarships. At 22, I co-signed her credit cards because Mom said it'll help her build credit. When Dad's second business failed, it was, "Just until we get back on our feet, son." So I kept paying. I kept saying yes. I kept telling myself this was normal, that this is what family does. But it wasn't help. They were building a system where I existed to fix everything. Quietly. Always. Rachel never struggled like I did. While I worked 2 jobs in college, she changed her major 3 times and posted beach selfies with captions like, "Self-care matters." When she moved back home at 25, no one said anything. Mom still called her our baby. Dad bragged that she was finding herself. And me. I worked. I paid. I fixed their problems. When their cars broke down, I paid. When Dad's insurance ran out, I paid. When Rachel overdrafted her account, I paid. They never really said thank you. Instead, they acted like it was expected. Like I was born to solve their messes. Big bro's got it. He's always so responsible. Oh, he's better with money. They made it sound like praise, but really, it was a chain. And I wore it for years. I told myself it was love. That one day, they'd see how much I sacrificed. But every time I thought maybe, just maybe, they noticed, they proved me wrong. 2 months ago, Rachel called me late at night. "Hey, huge favor. The dealership denied my loan. It's stupid. I just need you to co-sign. I'll handle the payments. Promise." I hesitated. She added, "Come on, you know I'm good for it. Dad says it's no big deal." Like a fool, I signed. A $48,000 SUV. Fully loaded. No money down. She drove off the lot like she won the lottery. She posted stories, spinning the wheel, posing with the car, captions like, "Manifestation works when you've got the right people." The right people? She meant me. 3 weeks ago, Dad called. "Son, we're applying for a loan. Just for a short time. We need your name to get better rates. Temporary. Trust me." My stomach twisted, but the words came out. All right. Because that's what I was to them, reliable, automatic, always available. But nothing prepared me for last week. A thick envelope arrived. Certified mail. Inside, legal documents. Over $136,000 in debt. Credit cards, loans, all in my name. Co-signed. Authorized. Dated. Their signatures, all forged. It wasn't an accident. It was planned. They opened accounts behind my back, shifted balances into my name like I was nothing but a credit card to them. They didn't even bother hiding it anymore. 2 days before Christmas, Rachel texted me. "Guess what, big bro? You pay. I belong." No shame. Just pure entitlement. I sat there, reading her message, while outside the world was covered in holiday lights. Families shopping, kids skating, people singing carols. And me, sitting there, realizing my family just handed me 6 figures of debt like it was a Christmas gift. I didn't reply. I didn't bring gifts. But I still showed up. Christmas Eve. I parked across the street. Their driveway was full. Rachel's shiny SUV, Dad's truck, Mom's car, even Uncle Robert's. The house looked perfect. Warm lights glowing. Laughter drifting out. They didn't expect me. I carried one small box. No bags of gifts. Just that. I rang the doorbell. Mom opened the door. Silk blouse, wine glass in hand, that same fake smile. "Oh," she said, acting half surprised, half annoyed. "You actually came." She didn't let me in. Rachel appeared behind her, grinning like she got away with something. "Big bro," she teased. "Look who showed up." I stayed quiet. Mom handed me the box they clearly had waiting. "Here's your special gift, honey." She pressed it into my chest, shut the door, locked it. I stood there, breath fogging in the cold. I opened the box. Inside, a thick envelope. I already knew what it was. The same debt papers. Over $136,000 transferred to me. Signed, sealed, with a red ribbon like that made it festive. Merry Christmas. I sat in my car for almost an hour, staring at the house. The house I helped save when Dad defaulted on his mortgage. The house I skipped meals for so Rachel could have dance lessons. The house they locked me out of. And sitting there, something inside me stopped. Not anger. Not heartbreak. Just stillness. This wasn't the first betrayal. It was the last. Christmas morning came. No calls. No texts. By noon, my phone buzzed. Credit alert. I opened the app. A home equity loan, using my name, my credit, my signature, forged again. Another $50,000 loan pending. They weren't done. They kept taking from me because they never thought I would stop them. The next day, my phone blew up with messages. Dad called first. "Son, listen. I know how this looks, but you need to understand. We were just consolidating things. The economy's rough. I planned to tell you after the holidays." Then Mom. "Don't be dramatic, sweetheart. These accounts are only temporary. You're just better at handling payments, that's all. We trust you." And finally, "Rachel, you're overreacting. We're family. You always take care of the big stuff. That's your job. My job." That's all I was to them. Not a son, not a brother, not family. Just a walking wallet. 2 days later, I got a text from Jason, a friend from college. "Hey man, didn't know you bought your folks a second house. Big moves." He sent me a screenshot. Rachel's Instagram story. She was standing in front of a new house, holding keys, smiling like she won the lottery. Her caption said, "Couldn't have done it without my big brother. The real MVP of the family." Underneath. #blessed, #family first, #forever grateful. She tagged me like this whole thing was a sweet holiday surprise, not fraud. I stared at the picture for a long time. The comments made it worse. "Your brother is amazing. You're lucky to have him. Such a loving family." But they didn't know the truth. They didn't see the years of loans I covered, the credit cards I paid off, the dreams I sacrificed, the empty savings account. All they saw was the fake, pretty version, the bow she tied over my hard work. That's when the numbness faded. But I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't send angry messages. I opened the black folder I'd been hiding for months. My full audit. Bank statements, fake signatures, secret accounts, everything I needed to tear their game apart. I picked up my phone and called Mark, my lawyer. He answered quickly. "It's time, isn't it?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes. Start everything." They thought they had me trapped. What they didn't know was I'd been preparing for this day for years. And when I finally acted, everything fell apart faster than I expected. 48 hours after Mark filed the paperwork, the first wave hit. Frozen bank accounts, suspended credit lines, fraud investigations. I didn't even lift a finger. The system handled it. I sat in my apartment, calmly sipping coffee, while my phone buzzed non-stop. Missed calls, voicemails, desperate texts. At 7:13 a.m., Mom called first. "Honey, it's all a misunderstanding. Please fix this with the bank. For the family." At 7:19 a.m., Dad texted, "Son, don't do this. There will be consequences. You'll ruin us." At 7:28 a.m., Rachel messaged, "Of course. Are you serious? You always fix this stuff. You're blowing everything up for no reason." I ignored them. Let the messages pile up. Let them panic. By noon, they switched tactics. "You've always been the strong one. You've always kept us together. Don't throw that away. You're making a huge mistake. One you can't undo." Rachel, as usual, went straight for guilt. "You're selfish. Do you even care what happens to us?" To me. That's when it hit me. Even now, when they were falling apart, they didn't see me as family. Not as a person. Just a tool, something they could use until there was nothing left. The second wave came that evening. Mark, my lawyer, forwarded me a letter from their attorney. "We want to settle this quickly to avoid criminal charges. Our clients are ready to hand over assets and clear all debts to fix this." In other words, they knew they were caught. But I didn't want a deal. I didn't want money. I wanted freedom. At 8:42 p.m., the doorbell rang. I let it ring 3 times before opening it. Rachel stood there. Her usual smug look was gone. Her hair was messy, eyes red, breathing shaky. "Please," she whispered. "Can we talk? Just you and me." I didn't move. "You've made your point. You're right. Okay." Things got out of hand. We needed help. And you always helped." Her voice cracked. "Dad's freaking out. Mom's sick with worry. We could lose everything. I could lose everything." I stayed quiet. She looked at me, desperate, searching my face for any sign of mercy. "I'll fix it. I'll move the loans back. We'll give you control. Just stop this." She spoke like she was offering me a gift. Control. But that was always the trap. Letting me think I was in charge, while they kept the leash tight around my neck. Not this time. "No," I said quietly. Her breath caught. Like I'd hit her. "You're serious?" I didn't blink. "It's done, Rachel." An hour later, the third wave hit. Their perfect little world started falling apart. Rachel's Instagram post disappeared. Comment sections filled with questions. Friends posted shady messages about people who steal from family and call it love. Dad's business partner walked away. Mom's charity board suspended her. Rachel's online followers dropped fast as rumors spread. Their whole life was built on a fake image of family perfection, and now the cracks were showing. The family group chat? Silent. The same chat that used to buzz with fake holiday plans, money requests, and guilt trips. Now, nothing. No Merry Christmas. No, can you help with rent? No, spot me for this. Just silence. For the first time in years, I could hear myself breathe. I made dinner. Ate in peace. Drank my coffee while it was still hot. No celebration. No victory dance. Just stillness. And freedom. They thought I'd never leave. They thought I'd never fight back. They thought I was too quiet. Now they knew better. The damage didn't stop at frozen accounts. It kept spreading. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the county. Foreclosure proceedings on the house at 481 Crestline Drive. Their house. The house I saved over and over. The house they shut me out of on Christmas Eve. Now they were losing it. The calls never stopped. Dad tried to sound reasonable. Son, don't let pride destroy this family. We can fix this, together. Together. That word tasted bitter. Together when they forged my name. Together when they dumped debt on me. Together when they acted like I was their personal ATM. No. There was never a together. There was only me, paying for everything. Mom called a few days later. You're punishing everyone. Not just your father and me. Rachel's not eating. She's a mess. Her voice cracked like she was about to cry. But I didn't hear regret, only fear. Fear of losing her safety net. Fear of finally facing the consequences. We were just trying to keep things together. You have no idea how much we depended on you. That was the first honest thing she'd ever said. Rachel's last attempt came in a handwritten letter. 4 pages. Dramatic. Emotional. I was scared. We all were. We didn't know what to do. We thought you'd be mad if you knew how bad things were. We thought you'd help. You always help. She ended it with, "You're still my big brother." I read it twice. Not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to fully understand how entitled they still were. Even after everything, Rachel believed being family erased betrayal. She thought brother was stronger than lies, stronger than fraud, stronger than years of draining me dry. It wasn't. 3 weeks later, Mark called. The federal investigation is moving forward. You won't need to testify. They have enough. Wire fraud, identity theft, tax crimes. The state's pressing charges. He paused. You still sure you don't want to negotiate? You could get some money back. I didn't even think about it. No. Let the consequences do the talking. Understood, he replied. A week later, the headlines came. Local news. Social media. Family accused of running identity theft scheme. Over $200,000 stolen. Their faces were everywhere. The same faces that once smiled in fake family photos. The same people who bragged about me online. Now, they were news stories. Neighbors whispered. Old friends disappeared. Business partners ran. Sponsors pulled their support. Their perfect little world, built on my silence, collapsed. And me. I slept. Proper sleep. 8 full hours without waking to financial stress. Number 3 a.m. texts for favors. No emergency Venmo requests. No guilt-soaked voicemails. No insults wrapped in fake holiday cheer. Just peace. Real, quiet peace. Months later, one last text came from an unknown number. Rachel, of course. You'll end up alone. You know that, right? I read it. Smiled. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't alone. I was free. I stood by the window, watching the snow fall under the streetlights, and whispered the 3 words they'd never hear. Merry Christmas. Exactly what happens when the quiet one finally walks away. For good.